He's a phantom.
Hey, how's it going? First and foremost, I'd just like to say thanks to all the new subs. I really appreciate it, so thanks for subbing. With that being said, why don't we just jump right into the battle? So here's a battle that I had not too long ago with Mycroft from Discord. Looking at each other's teams, all of our mons are looking kind of scary, to be honest, because, yeah, just all of them are threatening, in all honesty. So, with that being said, let's just get started. So I decide to lead out with my James Harden to rocket out some rocks onto the field while he decides to go out into his Embor. Now, this Embor is really kind of scary here, and I knew he had the superpower, but I wasn't exactly sure if it could kill me, and it luckily didn't, as he gets the defense and attack drop here, while I go for the Rock Tomb in order to slow him down and be able to attack him next turn before actually dying here. So I get my leftover recovery here, and knowing that he would probably not stay in, I actually decide to go out for my stealth rocks here, as he sends out this bad looking kind of crook. Now, really hoping that he wouldn't have the pursuit here, I decide to switch out and pivot out into this beastly Pokemon right here named MJ. Now, this MJ decides to throw out some green shit onto the background to really ruin my nice background that I worked on so hard to implement with my hex editor, and this crook goes for the Earthquake here, literally doing no damage. I get a few recoveries here, as this crook is looking really useless, in all honesty. So now he decides to go out into his own Tapu Bulu, and knowing that he would switch out into something here, I decided to go for Nature's Madness and ultimately switch out into something that could counter his Tapu Bulu, which is my doggy. So who let the dogs out? Well, it was me.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
As I let my dogs out, he decides to go and show off his Smart Strike, which is like really nice to know, because otherwise I would have stayed in and taken a shit ton of damage that I did not need to take. We both get a few recoveries here again with this nice green shitty background that was implemented by my Tapu Bulu, as he switches out into his own Embor, predicting a flame attack, while I actually went for the Will-O-Wisp, and that worked out quite well. For him, of course, me not so much. So now knowing that I really can't touch this Embor, I decide to sack out my James Harden, cause what else am I supposed to do? As this Embor decides to show me the Sucker Punch, and I'm not sure why he didn't use it beforehand to kill off my James Harden. Maybe he respects the guy too much, I'm not sure. Either who, I get some more leftover recovery here, the battlefield gives me a few recoveries, and I'm looking kinda energized over here again. He decides to go for a Heavy Slam and maybe wanting some pulverized bacon here on his team. I'm not exactly sure, but he, I think he might have misclicked here. So he misclicked and he goes out into his Gengar as I make a nice switch into my Alolan Muck. Now this Alolan Muck can't be touched by Gengar. So now knowing that, I go for the free knockoff here, because I can Pimp Slap pretty much anything, and this crocodile gets a nice bitch slap right on the face as I get the Choice Scarf off of him. And now knowing that he will go for an Earthquake, I switch right into my MJ to throw out that nice green shit onto the background, because that counters Earthquakes like no tomorrow. So as this crook throws out an Earthquake, we kind of decide to have our little tea party here as we both recover our health, and then I get some leftovers here. I bite into my cookies and they taste pretty good. So as we do that, he decides to switch out his crook and go into the Gengar, while I also make the switch right away as he takes the Stealth Rock damage, and I go into my Arcanine and get that nice Intimidate off. So as I get the Intimidate off, he recovers a little bit here, and I decide to switch out because I really didn't want to deal with this Gengar's stab attack moves at all, and I go into my Assault Vested Muck and take that Shadow Ball like a boss. So as we both just kind of stand there and the Gengar dances around, we recover a bit of health here. He decides to switch out, and knowing that he wouldn't stay in, I just kind of go for the full Mike Tyson poison jab here and jab this crook right in the face. And even though it's not very effective, I did have the chance to poison him, which would be rather nice. So knowing that he would probably not go for an Earthquake again because I predicted all the other ones, I decided to stay in here and go for another Poison Jab, hoping for the Poison Touch. and I do luckily get it. So I do get the poison touch, and now after we recover a bit of health, I kind of think that he really didn't have much of a choice and really didn't have too much to lose if he went for an earthquake here. So I kind of decided to pivot out into my Bun here, as he can take an earthquake rather nicely, I would say. So the ground shakes as I take that earthquake quite nicely, and I am able to finish him off here with an Aqua Jet. So take that, Mr. Crook. You are not welcome to this tea party. So now he decides to go into his Tapu Bulu here, throw out his own green grassy shit onto the field, and I'm thinking to myself, not again. I'm sick and tired of this. So I decide to switch out into my Muck, thinking, hey, you know what, like, I can most definitely take anything you throw at me, while this horny Bulu shows me that the Horn Leech actually does quite a bit. So not quite sure what happened there, but this guy is really horny, he really wants me. I'm not sure Muck can take another hit. Muck will just have to take one for the team. You know what, whatever, I don't need Muck in the battle much more. He did his pimp slapping and whatnot, so he did his job. So now this Tapu Bulu recovers pretty much his full health back here as I lose my Muck. So now now wanting to finish off this Tapu Bulu with something, I throw out my Leaf Blade here, this paper airplane looking kind of guy, looking fly as shit, as he switches out into his Gengar. Not quite sure why, but I decide to go for the Smart Strike here, obviously killing it, even if it wasn't a critical hit, while he gets the Cursed Body here, disabling my Smart Strike, which I guess was a good move on his part. I'm not exactly sure if he needed to do it, but either who, he goes out into his Tapu Bulu here, and not having the Smart Strike, I kind of have to switch out here. So I take my Leaf Blade back and send out my dog again in order to get that nice Intimidate off, while he kind of just decides to go for Mega Horn, and that literally does like nothing. And I think he takes more damage from the Rocky Helmet here. So he takes the Rocky Helmet damage. We have our little tea party again, as he then decides to obviously switch out, predicting my fire attack here, because what else am I supposed to do? I don't have Wild Charge. I don't have that. So he goes for this thing, while I stupidly go for another Will-O-Wisp for some reason, not completely forgetting that he had this Calypso in the back. So now I decide to switch out and go into my Bun, knowing that I can probably take whatever he throws at me too, because I am water fairy type. So I throw out my Azumarill here, and he goes for the Surf, which you know, it'll do a decent chunk, I know that, but I am able to live it. So as he goes for Surf and recovers a bit of health here himself with the leftovers, I just decide to go for, he goes for the Calm Mind first because he is faster. So as he goes for the Calm Mind, raising his special attack and special defense, I go for a nice Play Rough here, and it does like a decent chunk, and with him not being able to recover that anyhow, that's actually quite useful. So as he recovers that, he just goes for a Moonblast here, and that Moonblast is easily able to finish me off. Now, knowing that he really isn't much faster, or any faster than my Leaf Blade, because I saw the leftovers on him, I knew that I could easily finish him off with the Leaf Blade. So Leaf Blade goes for the Leaf Blade, because I get the nice Beast Boost here from finishing him off as the battlefield goes back to normal, as he sends out his Jelly Float here. And this Jelly Float luckily isn't any faster than me, and I am able to finish him off with a Smart Strike as well. So goodbye Jelly Float, you've been you just got paper jammed, or you got a paper cut, I don't know. As he gets his paper cut, he decides to just send out his Tapu Bulu here to die pretty much, because he really can't take that Smart Strike after I get 2 Beast Boosts. So I kind of go for the Smart Strike here, and I'm able to finish off the match. So thanks for listening, and till next time, I guess, which will be on Sunday, because I'll definitely upload another match, or another video. I'm thinking it's going to be a match at the end of this week yet. So, peace!